And so, maybe there's somebody who has come in that seems like a really good, possibility, but maybe you don't know all there is to know about this person. So it behooves you to take it slowly so that you can, learn as much as you can about this person before it gets so deep that then, it's hard to disengage. And as I was saying, what comes in is the kind of the end of a cycle. This is the last card of the Major Arcana, and it's a card of, achieving a certain thing, and you should definitely feel good about it. Now, this may have to do with another area of your life. The perfect example is you graduate from college, or you finish a long training that you've had. Maybe an apprenticeship or internship. But it can, in relationships, it can be that maybe you are getting divorced, because I do have the Justice card. And, I'm speaking so glowingly about getting divorced, but if we stop using these silly childish labels of married and divorced, and acting like it's really that they're really real, when those things are just external labels, then we can actually deal with it appropriately. You're either really involved with somebody or you grow apart. And when you grow apart, it's not about a document or a contract. And some people, they get hung up on the externals. And then they get oh, now I'm divorced, now I'm married. And it's like, if you can see that this was supposed to happen for a reason, and that it was a passage of time that was very important for whatever purpose it served, whether it be you brought in certain children, or there was a certain thing that person gave you. And sometimes it's just contrast that they're giving you. Sometimes they're just telling you, oh yeah, no, I don't really like that situation. I don't want that. I don't want to be, I really want to value myself, and this person doesn't value me. Whatever they gave you, cherish that, because they may have given you something that you thought was really negative, and it really turns out to be quite the opposite. And so that is showing that you're ending a cycle, beginning a new one, which is why I started this reading by talking about that full moon in your sign, because I think that's kind of like, you could say, symbolism for how to view, your own journey. And of course, you have this at the midway point, and then 6 months from now, you have your new moon. Actually, I think it's going to be less than 6 months, but you get the drift. You'll have your Aries new moon in late March. And so the cycle of beginnings and endings, always. So in any case, the higher message is the Justice card. So that's why I talked about this, that some people, this is about a divorce. But as a higher message, I think it's more in alignment with talking about how to view a relationship that you feel you were on the losing end of, like you were not the person who was responsible for it. The Seven of Cups can just point to deception as well. So you may be, as I said, you may be discovering that you are deceived by somebody, and you decide to end it, and hence the World card. But the higher message is not to perceive yourself as a victim, but to see that everything is happening on divine time. The opposite of justice is unfairness, right? And so when people feel that they are being treated in an unfair manner, it's very disempowering, and it can cause people to question, whether life is against them, the universe, God. And this is why having that positive mindset, and positivity is generic, but I think you get what I'm saying, is so important. What crosses you is the King of Swords, and it's going to be a reversed expression. So this could be somebody, now this could be like a lawyer or a judge who is crooked. So, on the heels of that Justice card, this could definitely be somebody that's associated with the law that is unfair. Maybe somebody that your ex has hired and they're going to, do something. So that might be something to be concerned about. But the King of Swords could be possibly that person, and they are, challenging your life at the moment. The King of Swords in reverse is somebody who is very cruel, but it's verbally abusive mostly. But they may play mind games with you, and they are like the master of it. It's almost like, I'd have to check my sources on this. I'm just saying this off the top of my head, but it almost strikes me as a sociopath or somebody with a borderline personality who, those people that they really come across like they're the victims or they're innocent in everything they do, and people believe them. They especially believe them if they have authority in some area. Like if you're involved with somebody who is like a bigwig, maybe they're a lawyer, maybe they are, they're in some kind of like a pillar of society, and people look up to them, but they have a private face. And that's when they're just very out of touch with their emotions, and they can do and say anything because they don't feel like they're accountable for their actions. And those kind of people are very dangerous. And this could be that type of a person. What I would say is that maybe part of the confusion in this month that's represented by the cups is that you have wanted to leave, but this person is kind of playing mind games with you and making you think that, oh yeah, we can get back together, it'll be great, and you're ready to proceed with a divorce, but they've got you still hung on that line because they're promising things. The swords are all about communication. In the reverse position, it's crooked communication. It's communication that is deceptive, that is negative, it's destructive. So watch out for that, because you don't want to get caught up with somebody who is kind of bamboozling you either. And this is a perfect advice in regards to this. The High Priestess. Getting connected with your higher self. Going within, uncovering the secrets. There's secrets happening. That's what this is all about. That's the energy of this month. Secrets. Or at least, deception is not really a secret. It's a misleading. And just trying to connect with your spirit guides, or, maybe even loved ones who have crossed over, you can connect to gain guidance from, or archangels. There's all kinds of higher beings that through meditation. So that could be a biggie that you can possibly gain some kind of messages from. I will say that as a sign, you're very active. So this is, particularly important for you, because this isn't the energy of the High Priestess is not the typical route that you take. I know there are some Aries people that are going to be outliers when it comes to this. So I understand that, but I'm just saying that if you really want to, get in touch with what's happening, you have to do so internally. Not calling up your friends and, bad-mouthing this person or asking them their advice. Do you think I should go out with this person? They seem like they're too good to be true. That's what this is, too good to be true. Well, not necessarily, but it has that potential for deception. So, and it's interesting because what I got as the final card is the Devil card. So that suggests that some people are very, it could be like a sexual addiction with a toxic relationship. That I think is probably the number one possibility with Aries, that they are continuing to see somebody under less than, I don't want to say less than honorable circumstances, but they are seeing them on the level of sexual relations. And maybe you're kind of duped into thinking that it's really more than that, but it isn't. And it's causing you to be degraded in other areas. The person could be, once you've gotten busy, that person goes back to being cold and distant and totally, almost, what's that word? I was going to say degrading, but not demeaning or dehumanizing. One of those terms, kind of when people look at you in a way that is like that, you can tell that they almost have contempt for you, and yet there's a sexual connection. Maybe there's a real sexual connection, but they don't respect you. It's a disrespectful attitude, dismissive. I'm saying like all the D's. I can't think of that word, but it's just something that with the King of Swords in reverse, it's something that they don't regard you in a very high light, but you are good enough to sleep with. So if you resonate with that, realize that you're kind of feeling that sense of compulsion yourself because you are getting something from it. Oh God, I wish I could think of that word. But and you really are getting something from it, but then they're turning around and just treating you like dirt. And what happens when people get treated like that, if you're not strong enough. Now, the chances, if some of you are hooked into this, the chances are that some of you may have low self-esteem. Not every Aries person is just perfectly confident. You do have the potential for being definitely one of the most confident signs. But, everyone has a different upbringing and even past lives. And if you came in with a lot of insecurities, every future contact with this person just kind of might convince you that you're, less and less or worthwhile or worthy. And so that's why it's so imperative that you not repeat these patterns, because it's you're kind of trapped in a very negative situation. And that's why it's the devil, because the devil is all about restrictions, but also destructiveness, self-destruction. By the way, the devil is connected to Capricorn. So if you know any Capricorns, and I know that a pretty healthy number of Aries seem to tangle with Capricorns at one time or another. I've had people leave comments about their experiences with Capricorns, and Capricorn's doing the same for you. So it goes both ways. So I picked a clarifying card because that's, you don't want the outcome to be this thing, but it is a possibility if you don't change. If you don't go within, you're just going to be mired in that compulsive behavior that is demeaning you. And this is a wonderful card. The Six of Wands is a victory card. So it is connected with the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now, I can't remember if it's connected specifically to Leo or not, but it's a card of success. So something comes in, and as I said, this one as well. You may be maybe you're having career success, and that is what can be a life raft for you to, you know, turn that focus away from this obsession. Maybe you're having obsessive behaviors, and turning it into more constructive, and you will have victories to kind of back up your life in that way, and maybe, I don't want to say distract, but allow you to shift focus and, you know, do something productive. And you know, I really don't have to tell you that, because that's something that you do naturally, but everyone has the ability to get ensnared in one of these types of relationships that is toxic and therefore draining, and, you know, one that makes you feel less than as you go along. So I'm glad that this card may even be speaking of a fire sign that you are to be with. And even though you've had maybe problems with somebody who had that temperament in the past, maybe that was you. I mean, that's always a possibility. You are a very fiery temperament. But I think that now you're going to start to see a shift, as long as you do your part, Aries. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below this video, and otherwise have a wonderful November. Bye.